show me all the blueprints. It's a huge success.
I came across a really, really interesting business opportunity.
Beyond the Blueprints. Welcome to Beyond the Blueprints. Today's episode is special for many reasons, but mostly because it is a conversation with my dad, Frank, and my brother, Cameron. And we talk about life and all of its mostly great moments, what has formed us or shaped us into the people we are. He talks about the future a little bit. Anyway, take a listen, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, guys, welcome to the podcast. So here we are. This is my dad, Frank Heaps, and my brother, Cameron. We are
nice to be here, Cailey.
I'm glad you're here. The OGs, the original Heaps clan, is a family of 6. So we lost our mom, but then I have 3 brothers. Cameron is the youngest of those boys. And everyone in the family, I would say, has an entrepreneurial spirit. Mm-hmm. Well, except for maybe the best one of us is a little bit more conservative, but the rest of us all have an entrepreneurial.
Well, they have it, but it's manifest in different ways.
Tell us.
Well, Angus, I know you're thinking of Angus as being the least entrepreneurial, but he is entrepreneurial because he bought the business from his boss, but he has an enviable life balance.
I would agree with that.
Between working his ass off and not working his ass off.
I say it as a compliment because I think he's the most balanced of all of us.
Yeah.
So I was described recently by someone in the media, like maybe 2 years ago, as being very risk aggressive. Is that a quality that you think we all possess in the Heaps family?
Risk aggressive, I'm guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think from an entrepreneurial perspective, what I found, being with a number of entrepreneurs in life is that the definition of the word risk is they just don't see it as risk. They see it as challenging opportunity. Yeah. And they're excited and motivated by going after that. And a lot of people are just wired differently and see that as like a scary, crazy, risky thing, which I think is one of the real differentiators between that sort of natural entrepreneurial
That's actually
gene or not.
Interesting distinction, because I don't feel fear. Like I've never led from a place of fear. I've never really made decisions from that perspective.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a lack of awareness, or maybe you provided us with a feeling in life that everything would be okay and just try it. I say you as you and mom, but I don't know.
Well,
does it keep you up at night, Cameron, any of your businesses or business ventures?
No, I've never really looked at it so much as I don't see it as risk, right? It's just part of the challenge to get to fear.
I stay up at night because of his risk.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Not mine. That's good. Not anymore. When I was a teenager,
actually.
maybe, but yeah.
I think the perhaps it's there underneath, but it's overridden by an obsession with, making something better, which is really what every entrepreneur is driving to do.
Do you think you have a conscious desire to have an exceptional life, or do you think you've just naturally created an exceptional life?
Well, I guess it depends on how you define an exceptional life. I mean, my greatest joys come from the simple things in life. Yeah.
Like what?
Well, humbleness, family time, swimming in water.
Yeah.
Walking in the woods.
Yeah.
Those things are great. Just being with family.
Yeah.
Being with friends.
I would say, so I recently did this CEO coaching program. And as part of it, you have to answer 144 questions in a limited time frame. So you can't overthink things. You just have to sort of go.
Right.
And one of their key takeaways is that you were raised with a really strong foundation, and that the things that give you happiness are the simple things, which I think is interesting. And I think Mom always talked about the power of nature, almost
absolutely.
in a religious way. Like she sort of felt like nature was, or Mother Nature was the end all and be all, or is that just my perception?
In front of every so-called great man, there's a much greater woman.
That is accurate.
Well, I don't remember a weekend we weren't outdoors.
Yeah.
And that was Mom and Dad taking us somewhere. But, you think of the great memories when you're younger. For me, it's the roadside motel with us all packed in a station wagon, all staying in one room, jumping from bed to bed. It's not the 5-star exotic resort, It's And it's in those moments you know, now that we're parents, and ultimately what do we do as parents? We try and recreate the great parts of our childhood. You start reliving all those moments, and that's where you realize those basic simple moments are the foundation and fabric of life.
Yeah, it's connection. Dad, when you were raising us, did you and Mom have a conscious, like, these are the values we want to instill, or did you just lead by example?
Oh, no, your mother's and mine values with respect to caring for other people, being kind, and all that was, I guess, the basis of it. In terms of a career, I don't think we ever did. I think we were both determined or wished hard that you'd get into university.
Well, eventually I did.
I know you did.
It was just a little circuitous.
The wealthiest of my children never did finish university.
There you go. And I think that's interesting. Yeah. I was saying to someone, I don't remember having career conversations with you and Mom. Like, I don't ever remember sitting down and saying, okay, let's chart a path from A to B.
No.
But somehow you've raised 4 successful children.
Yes.
So I think it's that nature nurture question.
Yeah.
And I think also watching you and Mom succeed and really have each other's backs in business and life has probably been helpful.
It's got to have been helpful, right? I mean, you got 2 parents that didn't train for specifically from an early age for the fields they went into, and just completely dominated successfully in them. I mean, obviously they're not the types that were doing it to try and dominate. They're just doing it to the best of their ability. But to have 2 examples around you is a very rare situation in life. And I've got to figure that, the entrepreneurial gene is very much nature, I believe, but it's honed. What is it? Nurture.
Nurture through nurture. Yeah, through example, like living it.
But honed through nurture, right? I mean, did Gretzky have natural skills? Sure, but he shot more pucks in his backyard than anyone else. That combination is an incredible force.
That amplification, yeah. And did we all end up as you thought we would?
Never had any. I never had any particular expectation nor vision of what you would turn out to be. I mean, it wasn't until.
Hold on a second. This is good. What was the? Was there any thought that you and Mom had of what each of the kids might?
I wanted you all to take your CA.
Yeah, it's safe.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, it's also, anyway, that's beside the point.
I remember, Cameron,
it became clearer as you got older, of course.
Okay, and what was the thought there? Is it to be accountants, or just that that's a very valuable?
I thought you were going to be a stuntman.
Oh,
do you remember
with a CA?
Do you remember when your school you did an aptitude test and they're like, you'd be a great bus driver?
Yeah, they said, well, military or bus driver. I'm like, oh, right. Then I bought.
Well, you kind of are heading in the military direction-ish.
And I went and bought a school bus
with my ex. We have not ended up exactly where you thought we would. No. Hopefully, we've exceeded your expectations. Oh, that's so nice.
Absolutely.
Now we're going to raise the bar for the next gen.
That's right. Now, do you have any? Now, let me ask you a question. Do you have any vision of what you see your children doing, or want your children to do?
I do, actually. I don't know that I want to be prescriptive in what they do. I see their strengths and what they could lead to. I think Declan is born to argue for the rest of his life. So law or leading a business. I say that with kindness, but he's always like 12 steps ahead of me in an argument. So I think he would do that. Mimi's the most empathetic person I've ever met. So I think she'll probably work in some type of, I don't want to necessarily say charity, but she's very interested in finance. So maybe like corporate philanthropy, something like that.
Yeah, I see that.
And Pip is a change maker. So she'll do, I don't know, either big business or social activism or something like that.
Yes.
In my like that's sort of what I think they'll do.
It's interesting to try to predict that. Huh?
Yeah. Well, and also the jobs they do might not even exist yet. Like we're moving at such a fast pace that they might be in a field that I don't even know about. But Mimi's very interested in finance. So
that's fabulous.
Yeah. And you have 4 amazing kids. Do you have any expectation?
I do have 4
or-
amazing kids. I
Yeah.
have not. It's a little early to predict. The eldest is 11, the youngest is 3. But you do look. I think you more look for what their strengths and weaknesses are, and
Yeah.
start thinking based on your experience in life what they might be more naturally suited towards.
Yeah.
But the jury's very, very much still out.
Yeah. I mean, that's the exciting part, is watching them grow and change. So
Yeah.
Okay, so Dad, the other thing that I think you've taught all of us, you and Mom taught all of us, is you touched on early the importance of caring about other people and being kind. And I would say that you've taught us that whether someone in the room is the CEO or the janitor or the painter, they're equally important as human beings.
I would go to the janitor. If I walked into a cocktail bar, I'd go to the janitor first
Yeah.
because I'm more comfortable.
So why is that? Talk to us a little bit about your background.
I came up from a very poor family, and my parents weren't the best. And I guess at some point in my early life, I was able to see this and become determined not to repeat their life pattern.
Well, you've certainly done a good job.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, that's interesting to hear because one of the
Oh, my dad used to say, "You bum, you're never going to be anything." And every time he said that, I sort of give it a little mark inside my brain. "I'll show you, you bugger."
turns out it worked. What were you going to say, Cam?
I was just going to say, it connects some dots because, I spent a lot of time with Dad in my younger years when he was running businesses. And, a trait is he always walked the floor first thing in the morning. And, we started in manual labor at a young age doing summer jobs. And
Bottling line?
it's amazing to see the connectivity there, right? I mean, I remember when we had the construction site for Steam Whistle, and he came by one morning, and the porta toilet was overflowing, and he said, "Well, what are you going to do?" And I'm like, "Well, I'll give them a call and they'll come clean it." He goes, "Well, why don't you just go out and clean it?"
Sounds about right. Yeah. Yeah.
Good question.
Good point.
Yeah.
So I did. And man, wow. The impact that has on everybody on the site.
Yeah.
It's very fascinating.
Yeah.
And so that whole, respecting and understanding all of the people in an organization, which ultimately the success comes not just from an individual, comes
It's bottom
from
up,
everybody.
yeah.
So interesting to hear how that started.
It is interesting. And I've always said that at my office and my company is there's not a job here that I wouldn't do myself.
Absolutely.
So before I ask you to clean the fridge, I'll go clean the fridge. I have no problem with that, or like clean up the parking lot or whatever. But I had never realized it was so clearly a part of, I mean, it wasn't intentional, but it's so clearly a part of the fabric of who you are.
Yep. Yep.
So when I look at your life and your accomplishments, is there one that you're most proud of? Oh, sorry, just for context for anyone watching. So you've heard about my dad's humble upbringing, and he chose education and had to pursue that on his own, but also pioneered the entire craft beer movement in Canada. You also have a family and you've had other business experience. You've developed a resort in St. Lucia. What in your life, outside of your perfect children, are you most proud of?
Well, there you go. I mean, that's where I would have gone first.
Okay, so business accomplishments, which are you most proud of?
I take a lot of pride in the house that Frank built in St. Lucia.
Yes.
And I take a lot of pride, I think, with what Upper Canada did in terms of leading not just the craft beer, but the whole craft industry, if you will.
Yeah,
And the
it was
house that Frank built, that's what your grandchildren call the resort that you built, which is the landings.
Right.
Yeah. It's quite
And
a spot.
I had spent years doing socioeconomic impact analysis for big companies like Limited Company of Canada and what have you.
Yeah.
And while that business didn't survive for reasons we might get into later, the fact that it generates 2 or 3 million man hours of work each year for Lucians is a source of great pride.
Immense pride. Well, you're loved on the island, so
Yeah.
absolutely. And not that I ever want to focus on failures, but I think, someone recently said to me, there's no such thing as losing. You're either winning or you're learning. So in the context, and I thought that was actually a really interesting perspective because I'm hyper competitive, so I've always thought about losing.
Right.
Anyway, in the context of taking something positive out of what others might view as failure in
Yes.
your life, what has been your biggest learning opportunity?
Yes.
What would you say it is? Like perhaps a perceived
I mean,
failure, but led to
I
growth.
knew. I mean, there wasn't anything I could do about the whole international second home financial tsunami that hit us in 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
But this is where we talk about risk. I mean, that's not the kind of thing you would see in a risk analysis. But I knew I walked away from that experience. You should have had a tighter rein on the finances in terms of financial planning, financial monitoring, financial preparation.
As it relates to the landings.
As it relates to the landings. Yeah.
Cam?
What's the question again?
Your biggest learning, what others might perceive as failure from the outside looking in, but you take it as a way to learn or grow?
I would say the most impactful would have been in business school at university. The first year I was called into the dean's office and kicked out of the program because there was 2 GPA requirements, one for your business credits and one for your electives. And I had made the business one and not made the electives. So you have to get kicked out of the program. And I knew obviously it'd be devastating for mom and dad to hear me get kicked out of the program. So I sat down with the dean and I said, well, Dean, so what do I do now? And he goes, well, what most people would do is they'll select something from their electives and major in it. And I thought to myself, well,
Oh, God.
here in this great institute of academia, how does that make any effing sense? Right?
Yeah.
So leave the area where I'm doing well and go pick something to major. And it's in that moment that I ended up majoring in philosophy, the great learning of answers to questions.
Yeah.
And I think it had an incredible impact on me for the rest of my life.
One of the most successful people I know who's in New York, he's Harvard educated. He believes that every child, every student should do a minor in philosophy, and then you focus on what you're interested in your major. But everyone needs to learn
Yeah.
how to think and have a conversation and rationalize an argument. And was that a really nice moment years later when they gave you an honorary business degree from that school?
Yeah, it was great. Well, because it was many years later, they called me back to speak to the business school.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they really knew all the details of what had transpired. So I went back and I told the story. And then a couple of years later, they awarded me with the top 100 alumni of all time, which my fellow students from my year, I'm sure, were rolling in laughter when they saw that happen. But yeah, so, I did learn a lot at the university, right? You're not always learning exactly what you might think you're there to learn on the surface, but I learned incredible things.
Well, I think
enjoyed the benefits of his philosophies over Sunday
God.
dinners.
We certainly have. Mom and I used to talk about that a lot. But I think that's actually an interesting thing. So that linear path that society tells us is how we should live our lives. I would say that if I look at all of our immediate family, no one has had a linear path. I mean, I certainly had a very circuitous route to higher education.
Well, I haven't graduated from grade 12, but I've got a master's degree and I did it on full fellowship.
It's wild. And I didn't graduate from high school, but I have a Bachelor of Commerce. So we've all sort of ended up there somehow.
And look at Angus, he's on his 3rd or 4th vocation.
Yeah.
I will say I went back to Ivy. Ivy did a program called Quantum Shift, and their initial year was 2004.
Yeah.
And it was a week course of entrepreneurs from around the country with the academia from Ivy, and they were trying to figure out if they could teach entrepreneurship. because enrollment in entrepreneurial programs has gone through the roof in all the universities across the country, and they're still trying to figure out if they can actually teach it. I mean, they can
I'm
teach.
not sure that you can.
They can teach accounting, which makes you better in business. They can teach marketing. They can teach communication, but can they teach that grit and way of looking at risk? So they brought us all in the room and they said, "Look, we don't actually know,
Yeah.
right? So we're actually here, but what we do know is we've studied entrepreneurial companies from coast to coast and globally, and we've identified that 70% of the ones, so first off, they were only there dealing with entrepreneurs that had made it past break even,
Okay.
right? So
Some measure of
all those
success.
crash and burns were out of it. Of those, and you're usually on incredible growth rates at that point, incredibly fast growing Canadian companies that crash and burned.
Yeah.
And they said almost always we can identify where the cracks start forming and they don't get addressed.
Interesting.
Because when you're growing so fast, what your team or company needs to be set up for today is not what it needs for tomorrow or
Future
even 6
planning.
months down the road. And if you're not as a leader seeing that. So that was their gift to us, and our gift to them was they just wanted to
Access to your brain.
psychoanalyze us all in a room. But anyway, that was a 1 week course, and I can tell you I learned more in 7 days than I learned in for how to benefit business and entrepreneurship than I learned in my collective academic
Post-secondary.
career.
It's interesting you say that. So I'm a member of YPO, which has been the greatest, I would say the greatest gift of my professional career. Is to be a part of it was a huge moment for me, and I've taken so much from it. So in a few weeks, I'm going to Harvard to do a leadership course.
Oh, yeah? Oh, great.
And it's with YPOers from around the world. So all either entrepreneurs,
amazing.
C-suite executives, or hired guns. It should be amazing. I know.
Well, that's the best. The best is when you're in a classroom of people that all have wonderful experience,
Yeah.
both the teachers and the students, because then the dialogue, that's where the great learning comes from.
Yeah, and when you're in a room, like I often find myself in rooms where I feel like, oh my goodness, I kind of have imposter syndrome, but I take so much from that and learn so much. I think it's a great opportunity. Dad,
Yeah.
when you think about the future, I mean, you read a lot, you're very in tune with what's happening globally and the political climate, the environment, etc. What is your greatest concern for the future generation?
Well, I think global change is probably the greatest one because it's on the track, the engine's moving, and it's starting to pick up speed.
Like climate change?
Climate change.
Yeah.
I suppose there are good reasons to be afraid of AI, but mainly climate change, because that'll affect everyone.
Yeah, and we're seeing it play out.
Absolutely.
I would say my greatest concern is I think this generation, like as I watch my children, who are amazing human beings, but the connection amongst humans is very different than when we grew up. Like you touched on it, Cam. We used to just be outside. We'd roam around on our bikes until the lights came on and off you went home. But now everyone's online. I feel like there's lack of awareness about impacting other people's feelings and emotions through actions.
Interesting.
I don't know. I worry about that a lot. Like that human connection and the kindness.
Totally agree. That's be my biggest fear, because it's not just the children. It's we're horrible examples, right? Because all of us are drawn into it. But I think there's going to be, I don't know, I'm a positive, optimistic guy. I think there's actually going to be a resurgence where, anytime you find yourself saying, oh, kids these days, or, then you go immerse yourself around, some university age students or young entrepreneurs that never finished high school, and you're in their presence and you're just so overwhelmingly impressed with them that you're like,
Oh, without question.
you're like,
I hate
okay,
that
the
rhetoric
future,
of, they're millennials or Gen X. I hate that rhetoric. They're all have
but
good in
you
them.
find yourself starting to think it as we get older, and then you're like, so how much of it is, us getting older, and how much of it is actually a fundamental change in youth that's not good? And I don't know, I'm bullish.
Yeah, I think the difference is we didn't have phones. So that wasn't an option. They didn't exist when we were kids, or at least certainly I didn't get a phone until I was 21, I think. But I think that when I look at my kids' happiest moments in the day is when their friends are over or they're in the pool or they're out on the street.
100%. Yeah.
Anyway, it's something that I think about a lot.
Yeah.
It's interesting, yeah.
Yeah. Cameron, is there anything that you want to get off your chest? Do we want a Sunday night confession right now?
Get off my chest?
Cameron, do you remember we used to have Sunday dinners, and Cameron after university would say, I remember in high school, and Mom called them, I think, Sunday night confessions.
Well, yes.
Cleansing his soul.
Yeah, my soul is fairly cleansed these days. So,
But there's still things that come out that just, wow.
So our teenage years, it was the most challenging.
The most challenging in teenage years? Well, at one point, you without a doubt.
That's not very nice. Okay. Fine. He tells my kids too, just so that
you
they
can
can
take
get back
wagers
at
on
me.
that answer because that's an easy one.
Was I really that bad?
Oh, sure you
I
were.
don't remember being that bad. I think it's led to my success ultimately.
Just that narc
but
cop you brought home as a boyfriend. Oh, and then you married him.
That's true, actually.
Just kidding, Jimmy.
No,
We
they
love
were
you.
all challenging at a point, but yours is the most vivid.
Really? I think about Cameron like taking the bottom off of Mom's new car when you guys were in Europe, or I mean, I had a few parties that shook the house a bit, but I can't possibly have been the worst. Maybe in a moment in time I was. My dad, so Dad will sit.
Maybe
and
there's
tell-
categories. We can be in the same category.
Dad will sit and tell my kids about my worst moments, and then Mimi's like, "Well, there's not much you can say about it."
I've never told them about your worst moments. I wouldn't dare.
Not the worst, but some of the bad ones.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's interesting. I kind of blocked that time in my life. Like I have some select memories, but I don't remember being.
Sometimes a very effective strategy.
And then, so you're 84 now, Dad.
Yes.
And as you live for the next, 20 years or so, what do you hope to see out of your children and grandchildren?
Come on, he drinks all natural beer. He's got another 30 in him.
The cigars and beer keep
It's
them
still
alive.
very narrow because it was such a great accomplishment for me to get the letter of acceptance at U of T to do my master's. And about a week later, I got another letter saying, here's a fellowship, we'll pay for everything. So that sort of conditioned my thinking with respect to university. I'd like to see them all go to university.
Yeah.
If some of them decided they wanted to be a tradesperson, electrician, or a carpenter or whatever, I would accept that readily.
Yeah. I agree. I
Okay,
think
good. I
that-
was going to ask you if colleges count because the trades, I tell you, the people I've hired out of colleges, they're just some of the most impressive.
Hardworking.
Well, and they have a skill on day one. I mean, they're really able to contribute. Not to say I don't want to throw university grads. I'm a university grad under the bus, but I mean, the colleges ultimately are teaching.
Yeah.
I realize that.
I would
ready
say
to
for
go
sure
skills.
some of our nieces, nephews, grandchildren will end up in the trades. As you know, my life, I'm very accepting of the trades, clearly.
right.
And tell us about Mom when you met her. I mean, I've heard the story, but it's a beautiful story. You just talked about you're doing your master's.
The master's program was in the School of Architecture at U of T. And on the first day, she walked into the room. It was quite incredible.
That's amazing. I haven't heard you say that.
And I pursued her. At one point, I had to play some tricks. we were coloring something, and I leaned back to my chair and I said, I'm colorblind. I've got to get this color here, and I don't know which one to use. So I asked her to choose a color for me.
That's cute. And your first date?
Well, the first date, I worked underground for a year and I learned some really good barroom tricks, one of which was eating glasses.
Very impressive.
So I really tried to impress her and I ate my beer glass. She wasn't impressed. I don't swallow the glass, you just put it here.
That's quite a trick.
Maybe you can teach us all at the upcoming reunion.
Yeah. Let's start with the grandchildren.
Yeah.
Get Hugo doing it.
So we met in September of 65. We were married in September of 66.
And then you had your first child in 68.
Ian was born in 68. We'd just come back from Monaco where we lived for 6 or 8 months working on a project there.
Who were you working for there? Because that's interesting.
A company called Project Planning Associates Limited. It was a planning, architectural, landscape architectural engineering firm in Toronto. I was so lucky to get that job.
Amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
living in Monaco right out of university doesn't sound terrible.
Not immediately. We worked in Toronto, and I was offered a job in Boston with another planning firm there based on a recommendation from one of the guys I was working for in Toronto. And I had accepted the job.
Oh,
And then project planning said, if we send you to Monaco, will you stay? So I said yes.
amazing.
We went to see that place, remember, on the
I
trip?
do,
Where
yeah.
did they put you up? Some
It's like the ballet something.
No, we were in the Hotel de Paris, which was just a kitty corner to the what the hell do you call it? Where you gamble,
Casino.
the casino.
It's almost as nice as Mom and Dad's basement where I ended up after university.
And we were there for about 2 weeks.
No, you lived with me too.
Oh, this is true.
yeah,
That's right.
you
That's
lived
right.
with me for like 6
That's
or 8
nice.
months or so.
That's much nicer.
We were there for 2 weeks, and then we moved into the clients rented a huge villa opposite the palace. The palace was on this side of the harbor. We were on that side. It was 30 rooms, elevators, 6-car parking garage, blah, blah, blah.
And it was right off the marina, if I remember correctly.
Well, it was up on the hill overlooking it,
Yeah, beautiful.
just up the street from Rosie's Bar.
What's your favorite place that you've ever lived?
Well, you know, I've lived in a lot of places, including Indonesia. Probably where I am now.
Bennington Heights, Toronto?
Yep.
Nice. Cam, you've moved around a bit too.
Like live or visited? Live?
Like lived for more than 3 months, let's say. Because you've lived
Oh,
in
it's gotta
Russia
be-
and Kazakhstan, and you've lived all over the place.
Yeah, Kyrgyzstan was amazing. I got to tell you, up the top of the mountains in St. Lucia is, you know, it was during COVID.
Yeah.
We moved down there right before COVID hit, and wow, never taken so much time to watch sunsets with the family. It
Most
was-
magnificent spot.
Yeah.
Well, your family's there now. Your wife is Lucian, for the
Yes.
benefit of
Yes.
listeners, and your family's there. The kids and John are there now, right?
Yeah, they're all there. They got the grandparents. They got all the cousins, aunts, uncles.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing village. You know, up in the hills, and they get to live real life, running around the woods, and don't have to ask to go out. And everybody knows everybody. It's
It's amazing. Would you
yeah,
ever
it's
live
mango
there?
season, so you
Oh.
know, for kids that like to climb trees, it's it's a dream.
And would you ever move there? Like when you're finished working?
Would I ever retire to St. Lucia?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, I would
Why not?
absolutely. You know, the Caribbean is very near and dear to my heart, not just because of the beauty, but the, you know, you can't not be touched by the Caribbean spirit that,
I think it lives in all of us,
yeah,
actually.
yeah.
I certainly feel it. So talking about your business success, Cam, so we talked about your university, your post-secondary fun. And then you started Steam Whistle with two of our colleagues at Upper
Yeah,
Canada.
the
so
Three Fired Guys. Yeah.
So tell
That
us
was
a little
an
bit about
amazing time in life. You know, there was a long series of events where different people had come in at the end of Upper Canada, and ultimately we had been fired, and we had gone on to do some different things for a couple of years, and we met together on the annual Upper Canada Brewing canoe trip, which my dad, you know, continued to host for many years. And it was one night around the fire. Greg and I were half joking, but not totally joking about getting back into the beer business. You know, we were watching what was happening. You listen to Dad talk about, you know, when someone told him he wasn't going to be successful. And of course, you know, we had some pride. We had been fired out of the beer business. And we said, you know, we're going to go show them how to, you know, this industry of people who think they know how to do it best. And we, the next week, incorporated Three Fired Guys Brewing.
amazing.
And then ultimately started to write the business plan. We were meeting every Wednesday down at the diner at the bottom of Bayview Extension.
Oh, the Cherry Street
the
Grill.
Canary.
Oh, the Canary, yeah.
The Canary, yeah.
Yeah, gosh, that was a great place. Yeah.
And it was a wonderful place. Boy, the bacon, so good there. You go down to the bathroom in the basement, and the grease from 50 years is just oozing through the wood planks. But anyway, that's where we hatched the idea, and we worked on it. And of course, we had an incredible mentor, the best in the world, with my dad, as we know him as Frank, in business. And we ultimately wrote the business plan. And in site selection, one day we wanted a cathedral of beer, this downtown old industrial brick building that we could build the brewery in. And we were looking at a site over by where the distillery is.
Yeah.
Very close to the Canary.
I remember that. Yeah.
And one morning, and you could see all the puffs of steam come off the downtown towers. It was a winter day. It was a bluebird day. And we just all looked at each other and said, man, we got to put a huge steam whistle on the roof of this brewery and blow it off every day at 5, and the whole city will run out and drink our beer. And, it was in that moment we just latched onto that whole notion of that reward at the end of the day. And then we went deep into the sort of era of overbuilt quality.
Yeah.
Called it Steam Whistle, and ultimately found ourselves at the Roundhouse through an unbelievable series of events.
Someone texted me last night and said, do one thing really well. And I said, do you know that's the Steam Whistle slogan?
Yeah.
And they hadn't realized it. But
is that right?
Yeah, they were saying it in the context of actually a comedian. But
Yeah.
yeah. And then so you pivoted from Steam Whistle, and now you are building high-performance electric luxury boats. Building, selling,
luxury
marketing.
and patrol. For many years, water has been near and dear to my heart, from canoeing in Northern Ontario to running 9.9s up and down the lake to running go fast boats from Miami to the Caribbean. And there's something about boating that I think we all as boaters love the time in the boat on the water, wherever it is, whatever the water is. And then there's a whole bunch of other things we don't love. The copious amounts of fuel we have to burn, the constant and unpredictable service, the storage, the hard to find service centers around the world, the bad fuel.
I spent my weekend charging our float boat. So yes.
The noise that it creates above the waterline, below the waterline. And then there it is, right in front of you, the solution. And it combined, years of refining carbon fiber hulls, which is, we were doing in the Caribbean, ultimately to save fuel and go faster. But ultimately, its purpose was to house the world's most powerful and effective electric powertrains, which, when combined, solve all those problems. So, we now make, motors that never need service. We have powertrains that you treat your boat like an iPhone. You plug it in at the end of the day, and it's full every morning.
Yeah.
And you can hear the water come off the hull. If you think of boating, what we're able to do now with this technology, which has taken a while to develop, because to push a boat through water takes so much energy compared to pushing a car through air. So it's you can't take the automotive solution, because those batteries don't need to deliver continuous high power or high kilowatts. So, but with it, what we're able to do is you're able to reduce all the things that are bad.
Yeah.
The cost, the unpredictability. We're able to reduce all of the maintenance schedule. So let me back up. We're able to eliminate all of the bad things about boating, which is the cost and the maintenance and the unpredictability of being able to use your boat. Then we're able to eliminate everything bad that comes out of a boat, because in the marine industry, we hardly even have catalytic converters.
Yeah.
And boats
I just want to know, is it
exhaust
still fast?
under the water. I'm going to get it. So we reduce the cost. We eliminate everything bad that comes out of the boat.
Yeah.
And it goes faster.
So
it accelerates like something you've
we
never
share a
seen.
love of speed.
Yeah.
So would you say a fast boat is better than a fast car? I mean, I have
Well,
fast car.
the hookup, as we call it in mobility, right? Whether it's a snowmobile, a motorcycle, a car, or a boat, the hookup is that launch.
Yeah.
Right. And, a boat has to overcome that water.
Yeah.
So what we're able to do is, we have the fastest accelerating center console on the planets now.
Unbelievable.
On the planet.
And there's no noise.
And it's called Voltari, which means what?
It's called Voltari, which
Voltari.
We were looking for a name to capture what we were ultimately out to accomplish, which is purifying the world's waterways. And we came across this word volta, which, in poetry is the word to define that moment in a poem where there's that dramatic change in thought or emotion, which happens in every poem.
Yeah.
And we just latched onto that, and I thought, man, that's what we're going to do in the marine industry. We are going to drive a revolution of change of thought
Write
and
poetry.
emotion because of how you feel about it.
It's poetry in motion.
And poetry in motion. There you go. And it has the word volt in it.
Yeah.
And I've been around branding enough to heed the advice of that third syllable is the most popular for human retention. So growing up playing Atari, we thought, wow, what does that?
Oh yeah, Atari. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Voltari is.
I remember when we played Atari as kids.
Yeah.
It's interesting that third syllable because everyone chokes on my company name, Heaps Estrin. It's like not a natural. You would
You
never
just have
choose
to put
it.
an A at the end of Estrin. Heaps Estrin.
Let's see. I'll tell the kids to change their names too. Okay, so not that this is.
It's not a necessary, right? I mean, look, Apple, Tesla. I mean, it's not a
Yeah, it's either,
you must
it's
have.
either singular or three, though.
Yeah,
Mine's a little bit tricky. I guess mine is 3 Heaps, Estrin, but it's not 3 in the way that yours has like some romanticism to it. Okay, so this is going to be an emotional one. We lost Mom almost 6 years ago, almost 6 years ago. In November, it'll be 6 years. And when she was dying, she said she was always worried that she'd be forgotten. I think we can all safely say that she's not forgotten, and we speak about her daily. I wear a piece of her jewelry every day. Today it's this.
I went to her tree this morning.
Oh, did you?
And I meant to talk to you because there's a little red pests are underneath the leaves. So we have
that's
to go deal
interesting.
with something there.
I went there 2 weekends ago. I walked up with,
You saw the leaves starting to turn, right?
yeah, and so I took off some of the dead ones, but I didn't email the
okay.
city, so I should.
So
email
I
the
have
city.
the app on my phone.
Oh.
Where you can diagnose any illness in a plant. And so I
Okay.
did it this morning, and it said pests. And I'm like, I don't see any pests on it. I disagree with diagnosis.
Yeah. You're wrong.
And then I'm like, you know what? Let me look a little closer. And I looked under the leaves, and those, I don't know the name of them, but those little red,
Yeah,
tiny
acupuncture.
things. And it said to cure it, you need to get a little soap and water and spray the underside of the leaves.
Well, I guess I know what I'm doing.
Of course,
later
it's
today.
50 feet tall tree. So I was going to talk to you because I have to fly out tonight, but
I'll
maybe.
call 311.
Yeah.
So I interestingly went. I haven't been to her tree in a long time, and I have a new person in my life, and they said, I want to get to know your mom, so let's go for a walk. So we walked up and visited the tree, and then we went across and went to see the bench, the Tea Ladies bench, which lives in Moorvale Park, and it still says the Moor Park Tea Ladies.
Oh, that's nice. I need to go sit there.
The kid,
'Cause
I was
always
thinking,
go to
take the
tree.
kids, take
Yeah.
the kids there, because it's overlooking.
Yeah.
You remember that old round water
Yeah.
splash thing that we
Oh,
used to
how
play in, but
many
now
hours of life Mom would have spent in that park?
it's the genesis of her business as well, was the relationship she built there
Yeah.
and everything else. But yeah, we sat on the bench for a little while, and then I thought, okay, we probably shouldn't be sitting on a bench amongst small children when we have no children of our own sitting here. But you should go with your kids, and it's an amazing water park now. Anyway, needless to say, I certainly think about Mom every day. Our company
Yeah.
talks about Mom. She drives our values still.
Yeah.
Dad, I know you often think about Mom and talk about Mom.
Every day.
Every day. Do you talk to her like in your mind? I talk to her in my brain all the time.
No, I don't.
Okay, I now just sound crazy, but do you, Cam? Like,
Yeah.
do you
I
have
talk to
conversations
her
with Mom?
more now probably than ever. Yeah.
Yeah. Does she answer?
I'm a faithful person, so I speak to both her and
The big guy?
yeah,
Yeah.
my Lord Savior.
Yeah. That's good. So rapid fire. I'm going to ask you guys questions just off the hip. All right, guys. Rapid fire questions. Here we go.
This is you're directing them at one each.
You or whoever answers first. Like it's just
Rapid fire. All right, Dad, you ready?
Absolutely. Wake me up.
who's more. That's very topical because my first question is who's more likely to wake up before 6 a.m.
Not me.
That's changed in life because I would have answered very differently. Because my dad used to call me at university at 7 a.m. and thought it was pretty funny. And now I'm waking him up at noon to get up for breakfast.
I know. I often have service providers call and say, "We're really worried about your dad. We've been here for 2 hours and there's no sign of him." I'm like, "Oh, he's sleeping."
Yeah,
Don't worry
but you
about
got to
it."
go by at 2 a.m. and things are happening.
I know. You're a night owl now. Who's the most likely to start a new company next year? Take out the next year. Who's the most likely to start a new company?
Certainly not me.
No,
I passed my best before date.
I'm all in.
So maybe it's me.
There you go.
Okay. Who's the most sentimental?
Me.
I actually think you two are pretty close, like tied.
Okay.
Like from an outsider's perspective. Do you agree, Cam?
Yeah, I would agree.
I think you're both. Who's the most competitive?
You.
Three older brothers are good for something.
Yeah. Tell that to every guy I've ever dated. Who's the best negotiator?
Dad. Yeah.
I think you each have not unique to yourselves, I guess, skills and approaches. I mean, you have certain approaches that are quite successful. I know Ian does.
Yeah.
I know this guy does. I know Angus does.
I would have
So
said.
who's the best negotiator? Probably yourself.
I don't know about that. I would have said that Cameron's philosophy background provides him really strong foundation for winning an argument. But I would actually say Mum was probably the best negotiator because she never even made it feel like it was a negotiation.
You never knew you were being negotiated.
Yeah, she just got what she wanted at the end.
Yeah.
And that
We
to
have
me is the
done
best
some very
negotiation.
successful ones together where we play the good cop, bad cop, which
yeah.
has been very successful.
And the one in Kyrgyzstan was really interesting.
Do you think the sign of a good negotiation is there's a winner at the end, or that there's two winners or two losers,
Two
or one
winners.
winner to one loser?
Yeah.
Two winners. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Everyone should
there's
feel like
certain
they.
times in life where you think you've done some great job because you got more of what you were looking for, and you don't have to be around in business too long to realize that they just don't last. So everyone has to win.
I agree, 100%. When you leave that room, everyone has to feel good about some part of it anyway.
Yeah.
Who gets the last word in an argument?
You.
That's not true at all. I would say it's not me. Who would you say, Cam?
Well, Dad's in his elder statesman's years, so he's got more wisdom than us, so he doesn't need to get the last word in.
I would have said you often do. Who's the dreamer in the family? I think both of you are. But yes, Dad, you have taught us to dream. Favorite beer besides Steam Whistle or any of your brands? Favorite beer?
Oh, I'm going to answer this.
No, that's one of your brands.
I'm going to answer this, and I'm thinking Dad won't know what I'm about to say, but I think when I say it, he'll remember it and agree. We do that annual trip over to Europe.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Pilgrimage through Germany and Czech Republic. There's a brewery just as you come over the border in Budějovice, which is the home of the original Budvar, which got in the big dust up with American Budweiser stealing the name. But it's state-run. It's sitting on one of the world's most amazing water sources. And our brewmaster, Marek, took us there, and he knew all the brewmasters. And in the cellar, they have a beer that they don't sell
Okay.
off-premise, and it's a 90-day tank-aged Pilsner,
Wow.
unfiltered. And after 90 days in tankage, the yeast has become so dormant it almost completely drops out. And they pour the glass, it looks like it's been filtered. And, with filtration, you remove some other things as well. It is the most delicious thing. Now, part of it is the place.
Yeah.
But sitting there, that beer is, I dream one day of making a 90-day aged Pils, even if it's just for personal consumption.
So that sounds like we have our next family trip planned.
So ask me. I would say ditto.
Yeah, okay. Ditto.
I've been there too.
Yeah, we were there together.
So family pilgrimage to try that beer sounds good.
Chuckia.
Most surprising hobby or skill? Oh. I mean, you can pull spaghetti through your nose. That's a good skill.
Yes, came in handy.
Well, I wouldn't call that a hobby, though.
I think, yeah, I mean, Dad has instilled in us, working with his hands, wood, power tools. I take great joy in doing the renovations at the house, chip away in free time. Takes years longer, but there's a joy in it that I think we take for granted. And I know Ian and Angus,
Incredibly handy.
we do these things, and not all our friends can. And I think it's very blessed to have picked it up.
Well, I spent my weekend doing chores at the cottage, so I feel like I inherited a little bit of that too.
Well, 100%.
I'm not as good as you guys, but I'm
Yeah.
capable at least.
Yeah, but that's where you were mentoring under Mom, and we were mentoring under Dad in those specific moments. Now, I
Yeah.
can tell you, we haven't talked about patience a lot.
We've had some
I
conversations
think
around
actually
meditation lately.
Dad was teaching us, because when we were building decks or whatever, and the boys were the labor, it was, we're a fairly impatient family.
Yes,
Just
that's
put
fair.
it out there, right?
Bring it on.
So sometimes, when you're a helper,
Yeah.
you're not doing things perfectly or rightly. So, the project lead will carry on, but it actually, in a way, pushes you to learn on a deep level how to do that.
Yeah, you better do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's true. You guys were taught more of the hands-on stuff. I had a peripheral knowledge of it, and then Mom was always such a great entertainer and whatnot.
Well, your
I think.
peripheral knowledge has inflated your perception of your ability. I know when I was
That's not very nice.
working on a couple of things at the cottage, and I got the elbow, and she grabbed the tools and went ahead and did it.
I
Well,
try.
that's why you're
I
the
try. I
be-
have to say, it does impress the odd person who's up there that I can actually figure
But
out
who's
how to
the
do
best
stuff.
host in the family?
Well, I think Mom and Dad were both great hosts.
Well, no,
I've
this is what
inherited.
I'm saying, Mom and you.
Yeah,
Right?
I love hosting, as you know.
there you
So,
go.
and Mimi's now a great host
Yeah.
and baker.
Yeah.
She has all of Mom's recipes in her head. Who or what always makes you laugh? This makes me think of Uncle Glenn and you talking about farts.
Oh, good grief.
But you answer it yourself.
Well, he always
Who
makes me laugh.
laugh?
That's one of the reasons I love hanging out with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't laugh very often. I guess
Yes, you do.
Pickled
Lucas
eggs
is
is-
pretty funny.
Oh yeah, Lucas is pretty funny. Yeah.
Pickled eggs are a good source.
Guilty pleasures in life. Keep it G, please.
Oh,
Cigars.
Cigar smoking.
Yeah.
Guilty pleasures. Man. Mom's homemade chocolate chip cookies. I could dust out a whole bowl and the finished product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna get Mimi to make some of those for a heap soda.
I mean, I could literally eat an entire thing, and that's just horrible.
No, it's not. Dream dinner guest, living or dead.
Oh, Marcus Aurelius. Yeah.
I would say Mom. There's so many things I'd want to say to her.
I would say
Yeah.
my grandchildren, having them all around me.
Well, you're about to for Heaps Hoedown.
Good.
Yeah.
Best advice you've ever received.
Bernie Johnson. Cameron, if not now, when? Remember Bernie saying that?
Bernie and St. Lucia. Yeah.
He constantly said that. I said, this guy's a legend.
I mean, it's a pretty famous quote too, but I love that it's attributed to Bernie. That's good. Dad?
Probably my father telling me I was going to be a bum.
That's not advice, but that was a motivator for you. Yeah.
Most impactful.
I think for
is.
me is the shift. You know, we've all had challenges in our lives. I've had a few sort of compressed in a few years, but someone saying life is not meant to be difficult totally changed my perception. Like, just enjoy it, live an exceptional life.
Wow.
Don't make decisions based in fear. It was Tash. It was Natasha Nestor, like one of my besties, who said life isn't meant to be difficult. So yes, these things happen, but just move on. Okay, last one. Who's your favorite sister? No, I'm just joking. Here. I'm the only sister, so that.
You should ask us what advice we would give to budding entrepreneurs.
Okay, go.
Well,
What advice would you give to a budding entrepreneur?
Cameron and I are in capital-intensive businesses. We make tangible products.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to make a product, never compromise. Make it the best way you possibly can. And even if you just get, Christ, if we had 1% of the market, we'd be billionaires. So if it costs you more, nevertheless, go on and make it, and always stick to making it the best way you possibly can.
And do you say that because people will pay for value, or do you say that because
Absolutely.
you can look at the product with pride, or both?
Oh, no, people will pay for value. You just have to convince them.
Yeah.
And the next thing I'd say, happy people make happy products. Keep your staff happy.
I always say price is only an issue in the absence of value,
Okay, interesting.
which I think is what you just said. I've just paraphrased it
Right.
differently. Happy people make happy products. I think happy people attract happiness. Like, I think you are the sum of the parts of the people you spend your time with. So if you show me your 5 closest friends, I'll show you you. You know, like, I think that's a very real
Right.
thing in life.
Yeah, and the other thing is, if you're in a capital-intensive industry, don't undercapitalize initially,
Yeah. That feels very personal.
because it'll catch you in the ass
Yeah.
if you do. And the last one is really understand the numbers, not only what you're planning, but as you're operating, and just watch for the soft spots.
I think that's
Really
very good
important,
advice in
the
any
numbers.
business, whether it's a capital intense business or not. I think
Yeah.
I've had to lean into that in the last whatever.
Right.
Our markets have changed, so our spending habits have changed. Everything's more expensive. Our costs are higher. So that awareness and like a true understanding of what's driving it is important.
Right. Right.
Your advice, Cameron?
My advice to entrepreneurs or early stage entrepreneurs would be
Don't do it.
no, man, it's the best part of life. I'd have 2 thoughts. The first is passion will get you through a lot, because it'll keep you driving in those tough moments. So make sure you love it.
Yeah.
Don't just do it because, you did some math equation and you realize a market opportunity, and you got to love what you do, and it'll be a huge ingredient for success. Like, look at we used to say that passion or love is the invisible ingredient in success or in quality.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at, let's take mom.
Mm-hmm.
When you're younger, and you take 2 different evenings, the same meal, same stove, same pots, same ingredients, same chef.
Mm-hmm.
And one night, mom's in a great mood, and mom, one night, something's bothering her.
Mm-hmm.
It will always taste better the night she's in a great mood, because when someone who's making something puts passion and love into it, it will always be better. And that's the difference between good products and great products.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing I'd say is entrepreneurship, as you know very well, is complete chaos in the early stages. I mean, nobody can perfectly predict what's going to unfold. Things are changing rapidly. Growth is happening. New people are coming on. Money's being spent to make sure the pieces are in place to grow. Cash flows may be tight. You may not be able to pay for a delivery of malt today, and you're shuffling, putting a payroll on a Visa. And those moments are not for the faint of heart. Right? It'll break most people. And it's the passion and drive that will put you through those. But because it's so chaotic, most first-time entrepreneurs don't savor those moments. Amongst the chaos are wonderful moments like the first product off the line, or the first, big account, or the first year anniversary. All those things, if you don't stop to enjoy those, you will, many years later, wish you could go back and enjoy them.
Yeah, being present. It's hard to be present when you are in survival mode, but I think you're absolutely right.
Oh, it's total chaos.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. But we all have that. Like all of my close people in my life say you operate at such a high level of like intensity in what you do and chasing fun and enjoying life. But I think that's very much a Heaps trait. Like I think we all have very fun lives, I would say. Yeah. Which brings me to, let's close it out. Next week we have our Heaps Hoedown, which is our annual family get-together.
Heaps Fest.
Heaps Fest at the cottage.
Yes.
What would you like to see happen at Heaps Fest? What are your favorite moments of Heaps Fest so we can make sure they happen?
Oh, just sitting around over a meal and just the conversations flying and people are telling stories. The kids are coming up, mixing the kids with the adults. All the rest of that is just...
So it's not the Olympics that we arrange.
No, it's not.
Well,
the
come
Olympics.
on, like as if we can avoid the highlight every year is Frankie teaching the grandkids how to drive on the Polaris, and not a year goes by without some.
Last year it was blood and stitches, broken ribs,
well, it was a bit
punctured
extreme
lungs.
last year, but
I actually haven't driven the new one yet.
You haven't?
No, I haven't. I will, but I haven't.
Well, Shaq and I aren't allowed to.
Yeah. It's not,
you gotta get
I don't
back on
think
that
it's a
horse.
Shaq
You
issue.
gotta get back on the horse.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta make sure he gets back in there.
It's true. It's actually, we just had a car accident in our family and the driver said, I'm sort of nervous to get on the highway again. I said, no, you got to get right back out there. It's accidents happen.
This is
Yes,
Indy?
Days of Thunder.
Yeah.
Really, eh?
Who we love and adore. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, gentlemen, very much.
Thank you, Cailey. Yeah,
Thank
great
you,
to be
guys.
here. Yeah, Andrew.
They're supposed
Alex.
to be invisible, but now we've called them out.
All right.
Anyway, I'm glad you guys could be here.
Nice to be here with you, buddy.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It's been fun. Thank you.